That's a sort of knowing question. That's interesting. I'd be curious who that came from, and someone I know. Good get. If it's not, then rather perceptive. I did used to sort of miss working on short fiction and novellas because I did that a lot at the beginning, and then times change and budgets change, and it wasn't nothing about their budgets, but it was just as you grow and develop and have a family. Sometimes I couldn't make every project work. Especially those projects would often come on sort of shorter deadlines for me relative to how I was scheduling at the time, and it was just hard. It was hard to make room. But I'm really excited to say that I'm actually working on a piece of art for a short story right now, and sort of against all logic, it just seems so fun and fresh and like what I want to do, and I have the time, and so I'm doing one. So yeah, I think whenever I find that there's something I miss, I try to bring it back, because as a business person, sometimes you have to be you have to make tough choices. Like, I'm not going to do any more of this right now. I'm not going to do any more of that right now to get where I'm going. But if you miss it, you can bring it back. These things, they feel permanent at the time. They're not forever. So yeah, trying to get it all. Trying to do it all. Hmm. Yeah, again, it's so kind that someone's paying that much attention. They definitely have changed over the years. I think that has a lot to do with what I'm capable of. I gave an answer in another video about how your work needs to be distinct more than it needs to be competent. And I think in the early days, I was really kind of obsessed with that idea. It did help me to break in, but also I was covering up a lot of my technical inabilities with style and noise and sort of energy. And so the early pictures are a little more energetic, and also I think technically they're a little derivative of other artists I was looking up to. You can definitely see a period where I'm experimenting with, how do I be more like Dave Grove? How do I be more like Sam Weber? How do I be more like Jamie Jones? There's these different periods where I'm looking at different artists I admire, and many of them I'm lucky enough to be able to talk to occasionally or ask questions to today. You're going through and you're trying out different sort of cloaks. You're putting them on. How does this feel? How does this feel to be like this kind of person and do this kind of work? And when you really push in one direction, it can feel like bad. Oh, I'm sort of imitating this person. I'm aping their thing. But when you can do that and stay self-aware, you learn a lot. So you find out, what are the limits of this style? What do I like about working this way? What do I not? And so what you'll see over time is that as my style changes, I'm just trying to say the things I want to be able to say more and more clearly. And now it's gotten to a point where I can change sort of on a per piece basis. So I have some work coming out for a few different AAA video game titles within the next few years. In fact, one of them, I did a piece of key art for Starfield that's already out for the Shattered Space DLC. And for that, if you're getting close, there's this like almost pencil feeling to the work that I've never really used in the past. And then you can see that same look sort of borrowed off and used on the Greenbone Saga art that I did recently. Why would I make that choice with the Greenbone Saga? Well, that story takes place in the 60s and 70s, or like the 70s and 80s. It kind of depends. I think it's a little up to interpretation. But they have international travel via airplanes, but they don't have computers, right? So that's a pretty specific time frame in human history. And I wanted the art look to match how did art look in our world during that time. So I didn't want to give it this slick, modern, digital look. I'm not just showing what these characters look like. I'm also trying to give something of the atmosphere of the book in the style. So now I change quite a bit to suit my needs, but when I'm doing film work or something where it's really technical and design oriented, I'm doing some covers for a series right now where there's these heroes that have a lot of technical gadgetry going on, and it's really tight. It's really slick, and there's not a lot of like extra textural. You're not like, that's a pencil mark. It's supposed to be like, that's a blast mark, So what the style is trying to accomplish now is helping inform what style I'll even use. But over the years, that wasn't true. And what you saw was just me doing whatever I could to get started. And then once I got started, using my work to push in different directions and hit those membranes and like feel how they push back and see, is this interesting? Do I like this? Can I see continuing to do this? And nowadays I feel I can sort of cherry pick and make each assignment fit in the way that I want. But yeah, it kind of looks like different styles. On the other hand, it's always got something that I feel is kind of mine, so you can't get rid of that thing, whatever it is. Don't know. I don't. I'm messing around with watercolors right now, I can say that. And I messed around with oils in the past. I got really lucky to take an oil painting workshop with Nicholas Uribe in Chattanooga, of all places. Townsend Atelier there had him for like a week, and I went with my buddy and we painted. It was awesome. And it doesn't really make sense to do a Nicolas Hirave painting workshop in digital, right? So yeah, I sort of maxed out on oils during that period, and now I'm playing with some other stuff, but I just really like digital for my sort of finished work. But you can't say, I mean, the future, who can say? I didn't think we'd have phones that could show our faces. Anytime in my lifetime, when I was a kid, I saw that on The Simpsons, and I was like, that's fake. And now that's like the basis of our technologies. So yeah, I don't know. But I sure love a good oil painting. I love looking at them.